Alright, welcome back to my boss build series, and I am on Warlord's Ruin today with Berserker. This is my first clear of the first boss. So I'm going to, my plan is anyway to do all the encounters successfully and optimally. So it means that, like, if I'm going through it the first time and I'm like gonna 6-phase or 5-phase a boss, then I'm probably just gonna wipe on purpose and restart over and over again until I can optimize the run to a point where I think it's a good enough damage to do it fairly quickly. So that's what I did with RATHIL. I don't know if that's how you pronounce the first boss's name. He's a Scorn boss, and I'm using basically the same setup that I used to solo Galron on my last boss build video. Threat of Warding for Woven Mail, Into the Fray, Banner of War. This build was nerfed a little bit, but not a lot. I definitely noticed the survivability is not quite what it used to be, but it's still good. I mean, Woven Mail still 45% damage resistance, and Banner of War, it's a little harder to get ×4, and I think the healing pulses are a little spaced out compared to what they used to be. But nonetheless, it's still a very survivable class, and another thing I noticed that they stealth nerfed, at least I think, is Into the Fray. Or sorry, not Into the Fray, Threat of Fury. Because normally, before Season of the Wish, when you damage any enemies with a Tangle, you get a full melee refund. So if you have 3 charges of your Frenzied Blade, you will get 1 charge back, guaranteed, on any Tangle damage. That was not the case in this run though, so I think they nerfed it, so now you get like 3/4 of 1 melee charge back, which is still alright, but basically it means that you can't just expect to destroy a Tangle mid-damage phase and get another Frenzied Blade back, but that's okay. So it took me a little while to figure out how to actually do damage and how this encounter works. I really like it. I think it's cool. Basically, you start off, I think if you wipe enough enemies, you kill enough enemies, then the boss will place a totem down. He will place 2 totems down, but sometimes they're not at the same time. So as soon as you see him put 1 totem down, it means you're about to go up in the birdcage, and you're going to start escalating to the top. It is pulling you up to the top where it will kill you at the top via impalement. So basically you have to shoot the 3 blight turrets quickly as you're climbing up in the birdcage. That'll open the door, and then you can go straight down to these totems here. So you'll notice that the boss has a buff called Imminent Wish. It shows on the left side of your screen. And while Imminent Wish is up, that is the amount of time that you have before damage starts. And the only way that you can actually start damage is if you basically deactivate at least one of those taken turrets that the boss puts down. So what you have to do is you have to stand in the radius of the turret, and it takes about 5 to 7 seconds for the little dark blight ball in the middle of the turret, in the middle of the totem, to disappear. It'll make a sound when it disappears. That means that damage will open up on the boss as soon as Imminent Wish goes to 0, and then about 2 seconds after that 0, the boss's shield will come down and you can damage him. But each totem will give you, the first totem will give you 12 or 13 seconds worth of damage. But if you can deactivate both totems before damage, you will get 18 seconds of damage. So it's important to try your best to deactivate both totems. And the best way to do that really is to get out of the birdcage as soon as possible, because Imminent Wish is going on while you're up in the birdcage. So if you take too long to get out of the birdcage and get to those totems, then your damage window is just going to be severely cut. But look, that's a super fast boss fight. I think Strand Titan's probably going to be the strongest build to get this done in that short of amount of time. But and I think like you saw how much damage I did for that first damage phase. I did over half, or about half. So a 2-phase is possible. The problem is that it's so quick to get to damage that you don't have enough time to actually recuperate your super energy for the second damage phase. So, I mean, if you could, then it would definitely be a 2-phase. Another way that you can 2-phase right now is probably by using Navigator and then swapping to Tractor Cannon. Place yourself a grapple point and then grapple melee 1-2 punch over and over again. That is going to do the most amount of damage. It's more than Frenzied Blade. However, that is a tricky swap to pull off, at least on controller. At least on console. If you're fast on mouse and keyboard, you might be able to do it, or maybe you could even do it on console if you can find the right time to swap your loadout and prep for that. But this is just one single loadout, plain and simple, and got it done. And a 6-minute boss fight is not bad. I spent about an hour and a half on my live stream today trying to figure out how to do at least a solo 3-phase. So yeah, and then as far as getting the secret chest goes, there's going to be 2 skeletons that you have to find, and there's a tally marks next to them. So in this case, I had one skeleton had 5 tally marks, and another skeleton had 1 tally mark. That means that you need to find the 6 wheel, the cogs, shoot them, and it means you need 5 to go counterclockwise and 1 to go clockwise. So you shoot. If you shoot the cog multiple times, it'll switch its rotation from clockwise to counterclockwise, or vice versa. And apparently, you can do either 5 clockwise and 1 counter, or you can do it vice versa. But it didn't work for me vice versa. It only worked for me one way. And then that opens up the jail cell, and you can get your loot there. And so I got this Dark Age helmet. And then I spent the rest of my stream just kind of going through this dungeon, trying to get to the second encounter. Found the secret chest. So yeah, I'm gonna continue working on this dungeon, and as soon as I have the second encounter done and that boss fight done, at least optimally for me, I don't have solo operative. I don't have any of the seasonal artifact mods yet. Only 1814, so. Not bad. Solo 3-phase on that first boss. Pretty good damage. Anyways, I will catch you in the next one. Take care.